Snoop Dogg, welcome on board the MAGA train, and get to perform and get to pretend like Snoop Dogg hadn't said all this other ridiculous stuff about MAGA, about President Trump, about those of us that have been supportive of President Trump since 2015, 2016. I just don't like Snoop being fast-tracked on board the MAGA train. So, Shamika, I want to start with you. How did it hit for you this weekend here? Snoop's performing, Rick Ross is performing, Soulja Boy's performing, Nelly's performing. Your thoughts?
So I am a Snoop Dogg fan, and it still pissed me off. Like, I was angry simply because of the things that he said. Like, really, I should have done a cover. Like, I should have been there doing gin and juice if that's what they really, really wanted. Like, Snoop didn't have to be there. And I just don't like the fact that he was able to say all of the things that he said, putting down Trump supporters, calling us out of our names, and then he gets, like you said, fast track. He's on the Trump train, and he's like in the driver's seat. You know, I don't like that. I said I welcome everybody onto the Trump train, but they need to sit in the back. I understand it's MLK, weekend or whatever, and he's no Rosa Parks. But get to the back of the bus, Snoop. Get to the back of the train.
For so long, the Democrats have owned culture in America. And as much as I agree and do agree with Shamika, this is symbolic of what's happening and what Donald Trump has done. You watched that clip, we came out of the break where he was dancing. We haven't seen that from the Republicans. We are in control of culture now. So watching what Snoop Dogg is doing and him being allowed to come in, to me, is an indication of change and what's happening. So as much as I would say, nah, you're a little late to this and some of the things you said, I'm also like, hell yeah. This is the Democrats' stranglehold over culture being disintegrated right in front of our eyes.
Tiny bit more skeptical, but I'm gonna hold my powder.
It's manufactured. I don't feel it's real.
Well, the reason it might be real is they all liked Trump before they had to pretend to hate him. So is it over now? The threat's over. You can't keep him from being elected anymore. You could keep him from trying to be reelected after he was there in 2016. Is that all over? I don't know. My thing is more from Trump's side. Have you not learned all of these people that hate you and hate you until the moment that you have absolute power over them and then they want to be your best friend? Because these people were all inside of your administration. Not Snoop Dogg, but we got a list of people. John Bolton, many of these people should be in jail for sabotaging the President of the United States during his first administration. And you haven't learned your lesson yet? That to me is a problem. I love Carrie Underwood. I've never heard her say a negative thing about Trump. Kid Rock has never said a negative thing about Trump. You got Jason Aldean, who I think is performing at some point. You got a lot of pro-Trump guys who've been in your corner from this jump. And you got a lot of dudes who weren't in your corner and then came back around. How about the guys who were trying to make sure you didn't get elected up until the second you became president? Now they want to perform at your inauguration? Not interested.
I wouldn't say I think Snoop would argue. It's like, I didn't really want to perform. They asked me, they offered me this money. They wanted me to perform. I would, and I'll say this and I'll get in trouble, but if there was going to be a rapper performing at Trump, I want it to be Kanye. Mm-hmm. Period, end of story. Right. I want it to be Kanye. But there's a group of people who wouldn't let probably or would complain if Trump let Kanye perform, the Jews, just quite frankly. Right. And so there would be some political consequences. But Kanye has been an authentic Trump supporter since day one. Why not Kanye?
Why not Kanye and put some of those MAGA rappers that have been very supportive this entire time, make them the hype men or something, give them some type of space to perform because they've been here and been working hard and been catching all of the heat from everybody and taking the ridicule. Let them come and sip champagne and do a few bars. That's how I feel. In
order for America to make this pivot and change, we've got to see this happening. I call it Studio 50 Mar-a-Lago down in Florida, where everybody wants to be part of the party. That's what Trump's doing, and allowing these people in and moving past it and seeing unity and seeing different voices and people who are anti-Trump all the way to this point. This is what's going to initiate the change and the things that I think he's going to try to accomplish during his second term.
I could see Snoop Dogg in 12 months cutting a new song and video, I Tried MAGA, and they just as racist as I thought they were, and one of them said this or said that. I just don't trust Snoop Dogg. He's been, and Justin, I want to play a couple of these Snoop Dogg clips, or particularly SOT number 9, where this is how just not that long ago, Snoop was talking about MAGA people and performers that did perform for Trump. Upside. Upside lets you earn cash back on things you already buy, like gas and groceries. I've been using Upside when I fill up my tank or grab a meal. It's so simple and there's always a way to earn. With my cash back, I'm gonna buy a pool table. Download the free Upside app today. On your first tank of gas, use promo code Fearless to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon. Upside. It's like, I just don't trust this guy. Is he really on board, or is he, again, another one of the, is he the Ray Epps of rap? Is this going to be another insurrection, and he's just the Ray Epps of rap? Let's play SOT number 9.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you ass gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the f out one of you Uncle Tom ass for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? Osby's the one that performs for himself.
And so we had this conversation this morning about, okay, that's Snoop talking about Trump supporters in a hip hop gangster rap way. Mm-hmm. J.D. Vance and others were anti-Trump. They don't talk the way that Snoop does, but they had hypercritical things to say about Trump until they didn't. The big difference to me in those two groups is like J.D. Vance then turned around and started working to get Trump elected. Mm-hmm. J.D. Vance has walked people through like, hey, here's why I changed, here's why I pivoted. He has a explanation for his behavior, his action, and he's raised his hand and said, hey man, I was wrong. And I bought the media lies and blah, blah, blah. And it feels like Snoop and these guys, now there's another part of me that's like, hey, this is pretty gangster. This is pretty Godfather-ish. You have this enormous clash, violent clash, life or death clash. The Godfather wins, and then his enemies come and kiss his pinky ring. Maybe that's what Trump is doing, is like, Snoop, come on up here and kiss the pinky ring, bow before everybody else. No, I don't trust you, but you got to go through this ceremony and ritual. But I just haven't heard any repentance from Snoop. Don't expect to. He's just going to cut a check or collect a check and then sit around and put his finger in the air and see who'll cut him the next check, you know, when they replace. Next year when Michelle Obama's running for president, he'll be somewhere singing her praises and saying why J.D. Vance is a member of the KKK.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it, because he hasn't come around to say what changed. When Willie D was interviewing Nelly actually sounded like he understood why he was supporting Trump or why he was actually performing at the inauguration. He went through and said, oh yeah, that's right, Trump said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. And then he said, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't Trump, that was Biden. So it's like he stood 10 toes down in saying, look, y'all can't prove to me how this man is a white supremacist. So to me, it seemed as if Nelly understood that everything that's been pushed was propaganda and it was lies. We haven't heard that from Snoop. So it's like Snoop has, he's been allowed to say all of the things that he said and then just come back in as if he didn't say it. And that's what I don't like. Like, let me see, Snoop, that you understand they were lying and that they were painting this man as something that he wasn't, and that you liked him before they told you not to like him.
This is Trump's playbook. If you look at all of his adversaries, other leaders across the world that have, been negative to him, the assassination attempt. He responds back. This is his playbook. He brings people in and he moves past it. I think it's a symbolic gesture. As much as I agree with everything you guys are saying, this is Donald Trump and this is how he works and this is how he gets things done. And so I kind of understand why this is happening this way.
TJ, not that this doesn't apply to you, Shamika, or Butter as well, but for me, the other thing I'm struggling, just as a Christian, as a believer, I believe Snoop Dogg is a demonic force.
No question.
And that his music promotes a satanic worldview, and just like, this is why I'm so reluctant to get involved with politics, is because, I have some real hard lines in the sand, and I don't want everybody in my tent. I don't want Snoop Dogg in my tent. And if Snoop Dogg in any way becomes some sort of proponent, spokesman for Donald Trump or the MAGA movement, that's where I'm like, okay, this is where I hit the exit ramp. You guys handle this. I'm gonna stay over here in my little Christian lane. I just can't get on. This dude's a pimp. He's racially divisive. He has no morality. I believe, I believe whatever we think Diddy is, I think Snoop's 10 times worse. I really do believe that. And so I just, as a Christian, I don't want to be on the same team as Snoop in virtually anything. And I don't know anything.
I agree with that. Certainly anything. I can't do.
Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all your fearless friends.